That's what I think.
And
I think
that would be interesting.
I think
and the Islanders might have to suck it up for a year.
Yeah, and it's not what team. There's a team in Canada that's waiting for the arena. I forgot which one it was, but they're playing like a 12,000 seat place right now. So I forgot which one it was, but there was something. Wouldn't be the first time that this happened.
I can tell you, it's not the Canadians.
No,
for
it's
sure.
not the Canadians. It's not the Nordiques. So maybe it wasn't the Nordiques. It wasn't the Oilers. I forgot who it was. So anyway, it's good news that the Islanders are technically coming back to Nassau County. We look forward either way to seeing them because they're playing pretty good right now. Last night they were horrible, but
last night was terrible. But by the way, brother, not to cut you off, just wanted to say Happy New Year to David Johnson. Wish us happy birthday or Happy New Year on the Facebook Live.
We should say we're on Facebook Live.
And Hal Bach is also watching on the Facebook Live. Hello, Hal Bach, former guest and future guest on the show. I'm sure
we're having him on again. He's going to be one of our regulars. I think we have to convince him to come on. I don't think that'll be a problem.
He's got to write another book.
We can just talk about all the things he's written.
Exactly. So I want to just throw that out there. If you're out there, feel free to check us out on the Facebook Live.
By the way, speaking of Hal Bach, his buddy Marty Appel posted something yesterday on Facebook, and it reminded me of my brother.
What was that?
December 31st, 1974. The New York Yankees.
Catfish Hunter.
Signed Catfish Hunter.
See that?
Tim Leonard switches allegiances from being a happy Met fan to being a bitter, angry Yankee fan.
I don't know how happy I was.
I have pictures of you happy at Shea Stadium.
We used to get free tickets.
Yeah, I know.
And I was like, 7?
Yeah, well, no, you were 8 or 9. Maybe.
So,
but there's
the precocious youngster that I was.
Yeah, the precocious youngster
saw the future.
Yeah,
embraced the future, and said, "I'm going with a winner." I don't want decades of torture as a Met fan. I don't want poor ownership as a Mets fan. I don't want to have to endure the Wilpons as a Mets fan.
Well, it was the
that's what I said.
Who Joan Payson owned it, but she didn't run it. M. Donald Grant did, and he didn't like anything really.
He was a bitter man.
He was a bitter man. But,
not a Yankee fan, but a bitter man.
But I remember, brother, we were watching the Sugar Bowl of all things on ABC, and they announced they didn't break into their story. Their game, but they said we have confirmed that Catfish Hunter has signed with the New York Yankees, and Tim Leonard literally 1 minute later said, "I am now a Yankee fan."
Proclaim it. Didn't wait. No waiting. That was it.
I still remember this.
Saw the future.
Why do I remember this? I don't know. I don't know why I remember all this stuff, but I do remember that because I was like, "You're a Met fan, like your older brother, who's wise and knowledgeable, and you're spitting in my face."
Saw the future, embraced the future. Thank you, Catfish Hunting.
Yeah. So, well, anyway, that's happened yesterday. So 44 years.
44 years.
44 years.
No, it was December 31st, 1974.
Yeah.
So 43 years ago.
Yeah, 43 years ago. So, wow, it's a long time ago. So,
Catfish Hunter no longer with us.
Yeah, and of course,
sadly,
they said, Catfish. Of course, the name came from your boy Charles O. Finley.
Apparently, the story was fake.
Of course, it was fake.
Because they said that he got the name because he liked to go fishing for catfish back home in North Carolina.
Right.
But it was a fake story.
They used to say
they just wanted to call him Catfish for some reason. I don't even understand why.
The story goes: if you went to his hometown looking for Jim Hunter or Catfish Hunter, and you said, "Oh, I'm looking for Catfish Hunter," they wouldn't help you. If you said you were looking for Jim Hunter, they would help you. So
I don't know. I'll take your word for that one.
Yeah, he died of ALS, by the way.
Yes.
So we should say that. Anyway, you're listening to this fine show called From the Press Box here every Monday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. as we talk sports every Monday. If you'd like to call in with a comment or question, give us a call, 516-572-7440.
Frank Sinatra.
Bing Crosby.
Ella Fitzgerald.
Dean Martin.
Hey guys, what are you doing?
We're making a list of artists you don't hear on the radio anymore.
Wait, I know where you can hear all of them and more.
Where?
Right here on Standard Serenade. Join me, Glenn DeMilt, for 2 hours of great songs by the great stars. Saturday afternoon at 5 on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Come on, everybody. Let's sing along with Bruce.
Join me, Kim Tracy, for the music of Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band on Thunder Road, Sundays at 1 p.m. on the Voice of Nassau Community College 90.3 WHPC and on the iHeartRadio app.
Shake off the realities of the day, broaden your musical horizons, and embrace the diversity every Monday afternoon at 6 on Revelations. The show offers a potently unique collection of music with an emphasis on themes and rock rarities, an occasional tour de force of blues and soul, mixed with compelling sets of folk and folk rock. I'm Steve Kay, and I've got the perfect soundtrack for your drive home every Monday afternoon at 6 on Revelations, right here on the Voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Yeah. One of the better albums of 2017. That's not on it, but was done by U2. Songs of Experience. Good stuff from U2. They're playing all over the place. And just a couple of quick things before we start the whole show. First of all, sad news. Dick Enberg passed away while we were away. Dick Enberg, to me, is more of a West Coast announcer, even though he did work for NBC and a lot of other channels. But to me, as a kid growing up, my favorite sports show, and yours too, because you watched it with me, was Sports Challenge.
You have to explain to people what Sports Challenge is, because nobody's going to know. It's an old show.
Sports Challenge, they would get, it would be like the New York Yankees, the 1956 New York Yankees versus the 1962 Los Angeles Dodgers. And it would be like Sandy Koufax and two other great Dodgers, and on the Yankees would be like Mickey Mantle and
probably Whitey. Whitey was probably there too.
Probably there too, or maybe Billy Martin. Who knows? And it was actual sports guys against each other. I mean, it's
athletes.
Yeah, and
it would be like if the Yankees did it today, it would be like Aaron Judge, CC Sabathia.
No. All these guys were retired. So it'd be like Derek Jeter.
Right. Well, no, Jeter's busy.
Yeah, well,
Bernie
Williams.
Would do it.
Pettit. Paul O'Neill.
Paul O'Neill. Yeah, those three guys. Coney would love to do that.
Yeah.
Actually,
and it was a quiz show against these two teams, and it was always great plays. I mean, they had Joe DiMaggio on this. I remember a couple of times DiMaggio was on.
Because they made. I mean, the thing you have to remember is back then the players didn't. First of all, in their careers, they didn't make a ton of money.
No, that's true.
It wasn't like they had all kinds of money that they could just retire after a couple of years and have enough money to live the rest of their lives. So this was a way for them. Obviously, they got paid.
Right.
I have no idea how much. I'm sure it was probably just a few $100s. But here was a way for them to go out, have a little fun, hang out with some guys who they were teammates with or they played against or whatever. And I'm sure, I'm sure there was probably some drinking after the show.
Probably.
Come on, boys, let's go out to the bar.
So for a while, this used to be on like NBC. Like it'd be on after like a game. They'd always cut in the middle of it or something.
Like college basketball or something.
And then when Classic Sports Network started, they started to play that. And they played it for a long time. I guess they just not ran out of shows, but other things end up getting aired. But
right.
I love that show, and Dick Enberg was the host. Here's what turned out to be one of the great sports announcers of our time. Doing everything. He did basketball. He did the great Houston UCLA game in '68. He did Wimbledon. He did Super Bowls. He did literally every type of sport. And
he was still doing the San Diego Padres games.
Yeah, he did the California Angels games forever. Did UCLA, the Lou Alcindor days and the John Wooden days. Not an ego from what we've read, and everyone had nice things to say about him.
Great guy.
Class guy. Doc Emmerich type of guy. Doc Emmerich's considered one of the best. And
very knowledgeable and just a good guy.
Yeah. So, he just retired. Technically, it was sad to hear about this. He was about to go on vacation, and unfortunately they found him. So, just Dick Enberg, another voice of our past, and actually almost very current also, no longer with us. Hopefully, NFL Network or Major League Baseball Network start airing some old games of his during the winter or something. That'd be pretty cool. Anyway, let's talk about year-end show. Or you want to talk about something else first, brother?
Let's go with Giants and Jets. We'll get that.
Okay.
The more I was trying to put together this week's show, the more that I realized that the looking back at 2017 was shrinking because there's a lot of relevant stuff that we need to talk about, and obviously, as far as most relevance, I think is probably the Giants because you're looking at a situation. First of all, let's just get to the basics. The Giants did win their last game of the season. Yesterday they defeated the Washington Redskins 18-10.
Only 18 points though.
But that is it was almost classic Giants football in a lot of ways. Defense it played pretty well. Kirk Cousins had a terrible game for the Redskins, but the Giants in their history have never really been a high-scoring team. They've never had that 49ers mentality where or the San Diego Chargers or New Orleans Saints where they're just flinging the ball all over the place and playing that kind of offense.
I agree.
So their success has always been predicated on defense. And yesterday that was the kind of game that they played. Now, why it took 17 weeks to happen, I have no idea. Eli Manning didn't play especially well, but he managed the game, and that's what a good quarterback does.
Right.
That being said, I think Eli Manning has played his last game for the Giants, and I would honestly be disappointed if that's not the case, because if the Giants go forward and Eli Manning is part of their future and they don't address their quarterback situation in this coming draft with the number 2 pick, then I don't see the Giants being relevant again for a decade.
A decade? That's a long time, brother.
Because when are they going to have the opportunity to pick a franchise-type quarterback? Well, these opportunities don't come along very often, and with the Giants having the number 2 pick and Eli Manning about to turn 37 years old, you can't delude yourself and say, well, yeah, Eli Manning still has a future. Do I think Eli Manning still has some football left in him? Absolutely.
I do too.
Do I think it's for the Giants? Absolutely not. So if the Giants really want to address their future and really want to look at turning things around in a quick way, you have to go quarterback with that number 2 pick.
Well, I agree. I agree. If you're the number 2 pick and you have a chance at what is considered a great quarterback or a good quarterback, you have to go for it. But how fast then do you get rid of Eli? Do you keep him around for a season?
You can't keep him around.
Or
you can't have that salary on the books.
But this new guy coming in, and we don't even know who he is. Can he handle NFL pressure? And the other side of
be able to with the number 2 pick.
And the other side of the coin is, if you give up Eli Manning, do you let him go to your team? Let's be honest. Tom Coughlin's waiting for Eli Manning to be
You let
released.
Eli go wherever Eli wants to go.
Or, if Eli doesn't want to leave New York, you send him to the Jets.
Also a possibility. The Jets, I think, are going to be looking hard at Kirk Cousins, the Redskins quarterback, because who is a free agent. And
you know what?
It's going to cost money.
If I'm the Jets, I go for Eli Manning. Because first of all, it's a
you're living in the past.
No, it's not about living in the past. It's about showing the Giants they're wrong. Second of all, you're getting a good quarterback. So I think that's part of the reasoning behind that.
You don't exist in the NFL to prove somebody wrong. You exist in the NFL to win Super Bowls.
Oh yeah, tell that to Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones prays that he can embarrass people.
Who?
Anyone, the NFL.
And what happened to the Cowboys this year?
They
didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, well,
so how's that working for you, Jerry?
He's rich as hell.
So what? Now
saying.
you're making excuses. You just said
but
he lives to do it.